Diabetes can have staggering consequences on every person that it affects.
In fact, it affects a shocking percentage of the U.S. population.
That's right, Montel. According to the CDC, more than 10% of Americans have now been diagnosed with diabetes, and nearly 25% are undiagnosed.
But you got to listen to this. Almost 75% of the U.S. population is now pre-diabetic as well.
My goodness. Clearly, diabetes disease management has never been more important.
But thankfully, as you're about to see, it's never been easier.
For some people, there are actually 3 constants in life: death, taxes, and a weekly round of golf. Undoubtedly, one of those people is Marilyn Prado.
Hello, my name is Marilyn Prado. I'm from Galloway, New Jersey. I golf anywhere from 3 to 4 times a week. My happy time is summer. I usually rent a bicycle on the Ocean City Boardwalk, ride 5 miles. Tennis, I love tennis.
Another favorite pastime, spending time with her high school sweetheart and husband of 51 years, Daniel.
My husband, Daniel, and I are childhood sweethearts. We met in high school. I was 15, he was 17, and we've now been married for 51 years.
But like over 28 million other adults in the U.S., Marilyn fights with something that threatens her healthy, active lifestyle every single day: diabetes.
I've always been concerned about diabetes. My mother, my grandmother, and my great aunt all were diagnosed with type 2 diabetes. So I've been looking and watching, and that was one of the things anytime I had lab work that was checked very closely. At age 40, I was finally diagnosed as type 2 diabetic. Managing diabetes has always been a challenge. I'm a very active person in the morning. Afternoon, I slow down, and night even more. So I have to watch my blood sugars at 3 different times during the day.
Marilyn eventually sought out the expertise of Dr. Matthew Corcoran. He and his wife, Jody, are founders of a groundbreaking national program and are 2 of the nation's leading diabetes patient advocates.
In type 1 diabetes, which is an autoimmune condition, this is the less common form of diabetes. Type 1 diabetes is an autoimmune condition where the pancreas loses its ability to make insulin completely, so that our patients with type 1 diabetes are absolutely reliant on insulin therapy to control their glucose levels and their health. In type 2 diabetes, which is the most common form, about 90% of cases, the body can still make some insulin, just not enough. So both type 1 and type 2 diabetes end up resulting in high glucose levels or high blood sugar levels, which over time can damage our heart and the blood vessels in our body.
I had to finger prick one when I got up in the morning to establish what my fasting blood sugar was. Then I had to take a finger prick at lunchtime, and then one at dinner and one at bedtime. So I was pricking myself 4 times a day. I started at age 40, and I'm now 76. So that is 36 years of finger pricks.
One of the most concerning things for our patients with diabetes when they didn't have access to real-time data was that their blood sugar may drop on them or may fall very quickly. And I know this has happened with Marilyn in the past, where she's been out at a restaurant and had a severe low. It's one of the scariest things for a person with diabetes ever have happen to them.
Recently came the revolutionary development of personal continuous real-time glucose monitors. Today, Marilyn uses the Dexcom G7. It's the smallest, most accurate CGM monitor available today.
So the Dexcom G7 is the latest iteration in a series of continuous glucose monitoring devices. And with the Dexcom G7, we're actually placing a very small sensor about the size of an eyelash below the patient's skin, and that's sensing glucose or sugar levels below the skin and actually providing glucose or sugar levels in real time to the patient wearing the device. So now, rather than just sticking their finger before they eat and then sticking it again 2 hours after they begin eating to see where their glucose levels are, they're actually able to visualize the change in their glucose over the few hours after they eat a meal. And that's a huge awakening for a lot of people.
Technology can be challenging for older adults, but Marilyn says the G7 is simple to understand. In fact, she says her only issue is that she wishes she'd tried it sooner.
I said, let me think on it, and I came back after researching it and said, yes, let's give it a try.
I'm going to start a patient up on a Dexcom G7. I'm going to have them meet with our nurse educator in the office. She's going to walk them through the application process, the settings process. She's going to teach them how to link it to their phone. They're wearing the device for 10 days, so there's a short 30-minute warm-up time, and then after the warm-up, they have access to their data.
So that if I have the monitor and it's constant, I'm going to know when I'm golfing, when my blood sugar drops, that I need to eat something. Or if I've eaten too much, then I need to take a little more insulin. One of my concerns was operating it and whether I would be able to learn the system. I found it very easy to learn. Technology at my age is always a struggle. I've been retired for 20 years and I keep saying I need to have a child come in and set up my equipment. Everything is very clear to be able to understand. I like the weekly report that tells me that I've been in range 90% of the time, 70% of the time. It keeps me on track.
The Dexcom G7 is even clinically proven to help lower A1C.
For instance, they may see that after dinner, I'm typically above range. So now they can target a specific meal. So you can see it's much more actionable information for the person with diabetes. We're putting the power right into their hands to make decisions and manage their diabetes on their own. In my opinion, most of our patients with diabetes, type 1 or type 2 diabetes, will benefit from continuous glucose monitoring. And thankfully, we're seeing insurance providers catch up to this line of thought. The Dexcom G7 is truly a game changer in diabetes management.
And for this Jersey girl, having a way to better manage her diabetes meant getting back to living her best life.
The G7 monitor is easy to apply and wear. You put it on the side of your arm, and off you go. It keeps me on track, so I don't overeat, I don't take too much insulin. If I need more insulin, I can take it. It's really helped me with my lifestyle and staying healthy and within the ranges.
Helping diabetes patients stay fit, active, and healthy is the passion and mission of the Diabetes Training Camp, a national nonprofit foundation created by the Corcorans.
Diabetes Training Camp is a very unique resource that I've created with my wife Jody. We run on-the-ground camps for adults with type 1 diabetes, and we have a very special sports performance camp for teen athletes as well as their parents.
So that's what really grabbed me, and after having seen him now for several years, I really appreciate all his hard work and encouragement along those lines. I don't know of any other endocrinologist that does the things that he does.
Over the past few years, we've transitioned to become a year-round resource for the community with diabetes to live the life that they want to live.
The G7 has made my life so much easier. Finger pricks 4 times a day. It doesn't sound like much, and it's fine for the first month or so, but you get several years and then your fingers, you get tired of it, you don't want to do it anymore. It has a lot of good features, it is easy to learn, but there's a depth to it too. The more you have it, the more you wear it, the more you like it, and there's so many things that it gives you information for.
We'd like to thank all of our diabetes advocates for sharing their stories.
And for more information about diabetes management and the G7 continuous glucose monitor, go to Dexcom.com.
You can also learn more if you go to our website, thebouncingact.com.